hard fight, and the family is very hard to get over. A dangerous business. This is a sefer of loving kindness. Dangerous business. A person about to loan someone money might ask himself, what is the worst that could happen? His answer, no doubt, would be that the borrower fails to repay. Chafetz Chaim, however, reveals an even worse scenario. That is that the borrower does repay with interest. Charging interest on a loan is considered so grave as a matter that it can disqualify a person from being received from death in the times of the Messiah. This was demonstrated by the prophet Ezekiel. Yalkut Yecheskel Remes, who was given temporarily the power to receive the dead revive the dead before the prophet's eyes. Bones grew new flesh, and the bodies came to life. Ezekiel was not able to arouse all the dead. However, the one who did not return to life, he was told, that was the person who had transgressed the prohibition against charging interest. Most observant Jews are aware of the prohibition, this prohibition, and most would be loath to violate it outright. Chafetz Chaim notes, however, that there are many who stay within the law technically, but utilize a permissible exception in a way that violates the spirit of the law. The spirit that emanates the commandment to loan money is the spirit of kindness. Jews are urged to loan each other money out of concern for the other person, not the desire to compound their own wealth. The technically used to dodge this obligation is that of the heter iska, a permitted business transaction which allows one to create a contractual partnership arrangement in which the partner investing the money is permitted to earn interest on his investment. Chafetz Chaim acknowledges that such an arrangement is perfectly accepted if it meets a halachic requirement and a legitimate business partnership is actually being forged. If, however, the lender can easily make an interest-free loan, and preference should be to do chesed rather than earn interest. Acts of kindness are essential to the functioning of Hashem's world, and any strategy designed to sidestep chesed has a destructive effect. In fact, the Chafetz Chaim blames the rampant poverty of his time on the people's reluctance to lend money interest-free. Since chesed is the salt that preserves one's wealth, a paucity of chesed allows it to decay. In the generations previous to the Chafetz Chaim, most loans were given with the intention of helping someone else. Before Hashem provided that generation with ample wealth, in the Chafetz Chaim's generation, loans that could have been given as chesed were executed as business partnerships instead, and a great quantity of chesed evaporated from the world. Therefore, the Chafetz Chaim says the Jewish people's wealth was diminished. They diminished it themselves. The heter iska of Chafetz Chaim's view is a tightrope that those who traverse it may be able to avoid the dire consequence of charging interest, but they are far from safe. The rejection of the opportunity to help someone creates situations in which eventual losses are almost assured. Even in the interest paying borrower may be not repay, and if he does, the money gained may be lost. In thousands of other ways, the wise investor knows that the best way to make sure he does well with his money is to do good with it. If I have utilized a better iska in the past, today I will examine the circumstance and consider whether free loans could have been given instead. This is on a lesson, Chaim, a lesson a day. When Shalom Yotzim Nechla Yachim Chanish Keni Yom Chol Yom Nishloit Pila Shain Shinhol Achil Zazom Vidal Akil Shachim Moshkin and Klai Solam Echet When Choskin and Solom Midais Shakadosh Baruch Zom Vidal Dir Shem Chanuf Machlekes Kas Gaiv and Ice Twaim on his poem like Solom's Chadiv Osas Kenis Vishal Daber in Daber Hatzorach and Yoni Gufi Nashi Kom Maisim Buli Shem Shmayim. When there is peace among God's legions on this world, there is peace among the heavenly legions. A better deal. It is permissible to inform friends and neighbors of a store where they can obtain items of a better quality or better prices than at the store where they usually shop. Here too certain conditions have to be met. One should know information firsthand. If one cannot verify the information firsthand, he would have to say, I have heard, but I have not verified that. CD 43. He must be certain that the quality of the other merchandise is superior. Brand names are not necessarily better. Where there is a significant difference is price. One must verify that the less expensive item is not inferior in quality to the more expensive one. There must also be no suspicion that the preferred store is dealing in stolen merchandise, as Allah prohibits. That means you're not allowed purchasing stolen goods. You're not allowed to purchase stolen goods. In other words, if another person knows that the flea market is of stolen goods, you're not allowed to shop there. In conveying the information, it's important not to imply that the first storekeeper is overcharging or is guilty of selling inferior products. One must convey the pertinent information without being judgmental. Furthermore, since people often view high pricing in a negative way, the information may be considered derogatory and could only be conveyed for a constructive purpose. Consequently, one may not relate information to people who may be interested in making a purchase, discussing the matter for sake of making conversation like constellation hara. 408. Page 408. Continue page 408. Let's go to page 408. Finally, one should consider why he deems it necessary to relate the information altogether. Perhaps it would be better to get involved and refrain from any action which would affect the storekeeper's income. In other words, if you know someone that might lose panasa by telling someone to buy someone better places, then it's rather be quiet and don't say. Let him decide where he wants to buy. Peace in two worlds. Sefer Malas Amidus. How damaging is strife, it can imperil one's very life. It was the feud between the shepherds of Avram and the shepherds of Lot that caused Lot to move away from Avram and settle in Sodom, which was a very bad place. He almost perished along with the rest of Sodomites. Our sages state, a home in which there is strife will ultimately be destroyed. A synagogue in which there is strife will see its congregation dispersed, and ultimately we will be made desolate. A city in which there is strife will become a place of bloodshed. Two Torah scholars in a single city, or two rabbinical courts in a single city, which is the Gemara and Sanhedrin, who have feud with one another, their ends will be death. Moreover, strife between rabbinical courts brings destruction to the world. For when there is peace among God's legions on this world, there is peace among the heavenly legions, as it is written. Who builds his upper chambers is in the heavens, and his union is established upon the earth. Amos 9:6. When are his upper chambers built? When his union is established on this earth, meaning when the Jewish nation is united in peace. Now for the Chaim Daily Companion, one of my favorite books. One of my favorite books. Every sefer is a favorite sefer to me. When Shoylam Yirotsim Venech Hadarachim Kain Kini Ayoim Chol Yom Nishma Pila Shani Velosh Nahar Lechilas V'Zoim Davar Pila Shyochen Al Shkein Nekol Kol Yisrael Echedek Mem Chol Shkein Mesroim Al Vidas Shekadosh Baruch Hu Zoim Davar Yirshek Chanuhim Achlekes Gas Gai Vanas Tvoim Vanas Pon Tzanis Chol Yiva Also Lekein Shlei Davar and Davar Tzach Nihani Gufi Nashi Yikol Mais Lilei Shem Shmai. Sin upon sin. The Chaim now discusses a more severe level. Chaim now discusses a more severe level of anas davar, verbal abuse. If one relates something negative to others while the subject is present, causing that person not only but hurt, but also humiliation, then he has transgressed the prohibition of the Sisa of Chet. Do not bear a sin because of him, which is the Torah prohibition against embarrassing someone, Fifth commandment. Torah teaches that even rebuking someone should be done respectfully, so as not to cause the person embarrassment. If one embarrasses a person publicly, he has to contend with the words of our sages. One who shames his friend in public does not have a portion in the world to come. Chafetz Chaim leads as through a Lashon Hara conversation, keeping count all of the commandments which each participant transgresses. Reuven tells Shimon, Levi criticized you. Reuven has now transgressed his first negative commandment. Do not go as a peddler of gossip among your people, Mikra, as well as several other related sins. Shimon, who listened to Reuven and believes his report that Levi said something critical about him, has transgressed Leisishal at Shem Shav. Shouldn't believe a false report, not accept a false report, which is the prohibition against accepting Lashon Hara. When Shimon now meets Levi, the person who allegedly criticized him, he begins to rank you and humiliate him. Shimon was now transgressing which happens when people speak Lashon Hara. Eventually people do damage to him because they spoke Lashon Hara and become so people are doing damages to my van. They're stealing things from my van. They're getting hold of the keys of my van. They're getting hold of the keys of everything that I do, and they're doing damage to me. Even though it's a guy doing it, but it's a grama, which is eventually going to be chayav b'din shemayim, and eventually, no matter what, but it depends how bad it is. According to Kabbalah, certain aveiros are certain get punished on this world as well. Man shall not cause hurt to his fellow, which pertains to verbal abuse. Levi is shocked at the abuse he is receiving and demands an explanation. Shimon responds angrily, "Why did you say those terrible things about me?" To Reuven, "Do you think I wasn't going to find out?" Shimon has now committed the third transgression, that relationship relating to gossip. By repeating what Levi allegedly said to Reuven, Shimon has set Levi against Reuven. Levi has a defense. It never happened. He claims, "I never said anything about you to Reuven." Now Shimon is furious at Reuven. When Shimon meets Reuven, he says, "How could you lead me to attack Levi when he said he never even said those words?" Reuven wants to prove himself correct. So he says to Shimon, "Oh, so he denies the whole thing? Come, I will repeat what he said in his presence." Shimon and Reuven find Levi. Shimon says to Reuven, "Tell me again what Levi said about me." Reuven proceeds to recount the story once again, transgressing the commandment against peddling gossip. This applies to even every instance of rechilas, gossip. Even if the person knows the information in addition, he has violated the command against. Embarrassing people by embarrassing Levi. Levi responds by saying, "It is true, I did not say something about you, Shimon, but I did not say it that way." Reuven reported it. "I did not use that tone," and he totally distorted my point. Shimon says to Levi, "Do you really think I'm going to believe you now? Reuven had the courage to repeat your words in front of me. These words became Shimon's truthful sin. Do not accept a false report." When we tally up the sins, we see Reuven has transgressed 3 negative Torah commandments, while Shimon has violated 4. Chaim asks, how could we have ended the story differently? Even after much of damage was done, there was still much that could have been salvaged. When Levi defended himself and said, "Yes, I did say something, but I did not mean it the way Reuven reported it," Reuven could have said, "Oh, I see what you mean. I must have misunderstood you." This would have concluded the story in a peaceful note. After the last few transgressions, if we examine our own lives, we find that the scenario in the one form or another is extremely common. Chaim advises us to be quick to acknowledge that we misunderstood someone, harsh words about another. In this way, we will save ourselves and our acquaintance from many disputes and sins. Now, the last book for this lesson, Positive Word Power. Okay, let's see where we open to. Page 15, day 15, Tesla 7, heart surgery. Mordechai spent the final 45 years of his life hating his brother, Label. It was something Label had said, a thoughtless, hurtful remark that caused his brother to declare that he would never speak to him again. And indeed, he was as good as his word. When Mordechai lost his wife and Label came to comfort him, Mordechai sat silently, staring past him as if he were not there, which is basically the same lesson as the other book, but basically the same thing as when you shouldn't come and comfort him, which is basically a lesson in Pirkei Avos, which is wrong. Finally, his hatred pushed its way out of his heart. His throat and out into the world. Who needs you here? He told Label. Get out of my house. Label rose up, miserable with the silence, and left, at last accepting that for in all intents and purposes he had no brother. In the final analysis, however, it was Mordechai, not Label, who suffered from hatred. Early on, Label had decided that he would simply act as if nothing had happened. He apologized many times, and then, seeing it was no avail, he went on with his life. Mordechai, on the other hand, lived with his hatred clinging to his soul. Ultimately, it ruled him, forcing him to destroy that what should have been a source of love and comfort in his life. Once a person understands what hatred is doing to him, he often wishes he could be rid of it. And there are strategies that can help a person accomplish that goal, which is being kind after buying people presents, which shows the opposite of hatred. Understanding oneself is the first step. Sometimes a person discovers that his own insecurity is engendering the negative feelings. Ruvain, at a yeshiva student, doubts his own ability to learn. He feels a burning resentment against Avram, his parents, neighbor, who always ask him, "So what are you learning these days?" To Ruvain, it seems that Avram is trying to expose him as something less than he should be in truth. However, Avram is simply trying to make conversation in an area he assumes would be appropriate. Realizing that everyone has flaws, and another powerful step is righting oneself's hate of hatred. Once a person acknowledges this fact, he can adjust his attitude toward the other person, so it no longer arouses hatred. Sarah is a hard-working teacher and a mother of a financial restrained large family. Her neighbor Esther is a full-time mother who has ample household help, a nice new car, and seemingly endless reserves of money and leisure time. When Esther tells Sarah of the new purchase or any other details of her high budget life, Sarah sees in her resentment of Esther's intensity. In fact, Esther tells Sarah of a new purchase and other details of her high budget life. Sarah sees in her resentment of Esther's intense insensitivity. In fact, Esther is rather self-centered, a rather self-centered person. She has a flaw, but Sarah too has flaws. By simply facing that fact, Sarah can dispel her anger. Taking the time to consider the situation from the other person's perspective shifts the grounds underneath one's emotions. Ever without finding a merit for the other person, one has at least acknowledged that he is another person, that alone should incline one in the direction of respecting self-esteem, self-image, and godliness inherent within us all. In other words, in thinking about people toward whom I harbor negative feelings, I will apply the suggestive above and try to change my perspective. But there's also certain laws over there. So evil I see the Mirshal, like causing someone to be angry is also being over the evil I see the Mirshal. Causing someone to be over is also the evil I see the Mirshal. Think of all these things that you over by such conversations. And just words that you can make someone be over. Let's learn the Zohar, the famous Zohar again, the famous favorite Zohar. A long suffer. Motion basically on these things. Mansa Sochia Kodesh Baruch Mekatz Yom L'Sam Pul Soch Boy Ei Misha Ei Tas Chai Ani Kilo Not As Nafshe Spacey Hu Nas Nafshe Kodesh Baruch Maknas Yom Maknas Nafshe Meisi Oilam Shei Voice Ma Balam Sheis Me Kois Ayem Kol Amen Tei Kodesh Baruch Elen Von Kodesh Nafshe Nafshe Nei Meisi Ein Meis Ma Balam Shpi Baz a Feel Nix Ois Ich Kama Yom Kham Tais Tkun Nekon Men Stak Men Lei As Nafshe In Oilam Mal Baim Shomer Abi Abba Yachman Slenim and Bainam Do I feel Shu Asher Elafu Nisus Nafshe, doing a film called Adam Gam came Koshkin Ali. I know I show Isra Mununa, Kishay is South Mustalik, what else I as nice Holoman and Toys Nash Koshkat Yati, Toys Bidanko. Ilama Yatkon, Chani Islamata, Schari, so I'm a college Kofla, yes, Milk of Yadi Koshkin, Navish, pick the national college ball, which cost me a half million. Oiler Messiah B'Lashon Hara Mei Misal Oilam Tachs El Yesh Ruach Hach Shemenes Akolois Mal B'Lashon Hara Shkash Messiah Manash B'Lashon Hara Oisei Adam Messiah B'Lashon Hara is Messiah Hes Ruach Hara Zayim Pnei Shmalash Neisach Sicha V'Shayre Al Oisei Messiah B'Lashon Hara Shkila B'Ab Nei Adam V'Nichas Malab Gani B'Oisei Messiah B'Lashon Hara Mab Zcherek B'Oilam Oileis Messiah Mesatzad Hara Zeh Shayim and Piyam and Shayim Lechoishrim Akach V'Yodim Shalei Messiah Shalmata Please, I Shamal in the table now. Now the Shnor maybe Menas Spasek Glacier. But I because Mancha Shamak Glacier, I think Becca's bottom of the Bain Shukama Shame and Shame Icy Stud, Yoshimu, the Tail Malamat and Shkino, Glacier Shay Allah. Manchu Masters Dark and Shkinam Stalakas, me men of Shaman Glacier, and Becca's by Mitala Nakhashal, Takas, and Yasua Hakash Shata, that's by Lama. Shall I shut a Makash Glacier on the end Stalk Sham, as they should not make Musarik Mari Pana. Makal, Oye Mishim Shanafesh. Chai Azai Kadosh Al Yanik Shell Saisa, Oris Kadosh and the Klalas, Zayha is Kodim Line Shaman, Zahin Shaila, Malam Vest and the Yamalach. Kadosh the class of Sham, and Mike Bialabel, Kenikas do the best, I called the Shan, and Push, and just the Dav, and Well Zai. I can't tell you about Hez, I mean, so the Shin Khomera, as a Shine and people shining. Shumshim Saisa Shining Dav, and Divin Ram, some the good Malam, Shah Shining Kulma, Season, Moim, Staff, Steve. Libero, Shpani Pamok, and Darkish, and Nakastak was the Shamak Glacier of Eris. Minimum Salekas, like Khaled, Abik, which Emma, nothing needing Chase type. Oisa Shama, Ida Vusha, Atsash, I'll call the Isimalai, walking Wadamus, like Costa Shame, people shining some besides Dashing. Bada, you Oisa Chase with the best, and some Stagas, Pala, Dibara, as Stava Nakish, called Chase McCoy. Chase Dibara, Ida Badrachim. Dus Shell of the Nakish attack, come Lucas Poseidus, Oil Manuach, Eris, Matsada Woman, says Oisa, Ish Oida, Oisa Dibra, Ruach, but there is a place, is a events, Menno, Oisa, Shade, all of times, Asa, as to second Poseidon. Davos Nari, Michab, and Shakash Bochum, by the Amos, Lashan Harish, Manakish, Isha, Golam, Isha, Adam, Isa, Misa, Call Island, Lashan Harakasu, Shane of Head of Hadab, Kakul, and they head up, and they Lashan Harak, came out by his Halab. So Head of Lahibah, Shnino, Jesh College Bochum. Heller Shabbos Donis and Sham, the Shkos of Heller Yibam, all the Adam, Kabi Techabasam, Shukak Gulachem, and the Herb, Chema minus Horef. Matadun, Shadun, Shadin Kosif, Kish Taden Skachnin, Mishes, like Herb, Shining with the Mens, like Herb, Shamash Bidas, I call it Shkos of List here, Tayas and Matsaya. With Shaman Bam, Wolf, with a Kokatay and College Boch, Mahab, Shu, Hosp, Isolation Holish, with Shama Kabay. And if you do a Shkos of List here, Tayas and Matsaya, so you see the last Shamas Shamar here, Omakom, Wish Moist Shamam, Tamalai. It's called above the second Balsh, I see the Bala, I the mayor, Rachtum, love, Nibla Ball, the Tommy Tamois, and Bediba Shamata, Messiah Bediba. Tabalash and Horn, and Tilos and Ishpas, and Udam, and Says Tia, Vade, regularly pulling men away with Shamal of Yentos, and a coin, Mabal, Ashmino, Ashmish, like Lash and Horn, Filas, and the Hans, and the College Bochum. Shaz Oida, Urachatuma, Kevin Shaz, Shua, Kabal of Shuma, Cosby, and Toss, and Coin. Kalmach, College Bochum, Splashana, Amar Abishim, Kalmach, College Bochum, Pelashan, Ashkas, Shamos, Nagus, Hussein, Autonomy, Don, but he comes as Slash, Arab, Gazal, Sanish, like a council. Earth Mason, Elish, Amalash, Arnix, Piat, Layers, Yahu. Kevin Sion, Lashna, Allah, Clash Kilo, Zio, Love, Alzakina, College Bochum. As there under I saw Colin Shabby, only my steel spicer. People Lashna Hara, Godim, Adam Shimas, Godim, Man, Wailis, and Blossom, Zain of us, Appel, Lace, Lashna Harsh, Hazas, Godim, she almost Godim, Man, as I could cover the Canal. Crazy Lacham Rocha, but he died, when Shams bent you all. Shabrach Vatzlach Banasa B'dai, my dear brothers. And try not to do Averis. Try to live a Yid life the way a Yid is supposed to live. Try to stay away from those who are causing you to do Averis. Make a Siyagla Torah, Siyagla Mitzvah, Siyagla Shmir, Siyagla Avera. See, Siyagla Torah, you should stay away from Averis. Make a fence, and you should stay away from Averis, Chas v'Shalom. I wish you a very good vach, my dear brothers. Kol tov. Bye.